or in the recent past, you've been harboring feelings of worthlessness, hopelessness, and helplessness. You are into depression. You don't see anything to be working in your life, and you're almost concluding that you're not good for anything. You don't measure to the standards of beauty, to the standards of wealth, to the standard of parenting, to the standards of career, and to all the other social standards. You are falling short of that expected standard. And you are naturally gravitating towards giving up and throwing in the towel. Well, my name is Martin, and I'm excited that I'll be here to share some basic truths about you. And the intention of sharing is to strengthen your resolve to grow, evolve, and to become the best version of yourself. Number two is to encourage you because of the discouragements you have experienced because of difficult life experiences. The truth of the matter is, we are living in hard times, and we cannot bury our heads in the sand and assume we are untouched. As long as we are on earth, we are all going to share a brunt of the pain, the sufferings, and the challenges in this world. Number three, these truths I'm going to share are meant to offer you comfort. There's need to have a soothing in your soul. Your heart is troubled. Your heart is helter-skelter. Your heart is giving up. But these truths I'm just about to share, they will do what? They will comfort you. So I summarize again. What I'm just going to share is going to offer you strength, it's going to encourage you, and it's going to comfort you. So before I continue, if it's your first time watching this, it's your first time in this channel, please spare 1 minute, subscribe to this channel, then click that bell so that anytime I upload another video like this, you'll be the first one to be notified. Okay, so let's begin. The feelings that you have had of yourself are informed by the knowledge, the understanding you have about you. And if they have been about worthlessness, hopelessness, and helplessness, chances are what you know, what you understand, and what you are aware of yourself is very depressing. It doesn't give you a reason to live, a reason to hope for a better tomorrow. What we believe about ourselves form our esteem. It is either low self-esteem or high self-esteem. So if you feel inadequate, if you feel you're good for nothing, it's because what you know about yourself makes you feel less than other people, makes you feel less talented, less gifted, less beautiful, and less moneyed, and many, many other aspects you're measuring yourself against, you're falling short of that glory, and that's why you feel low of yourself. So, time and again, we need to renew our minds so that we don't conform to the standards, to the narrations, to the theories, to the ideologies of this world concerning us. You cannot be listening to what the televisions are saying about beauty, because then you will always fall short of that expected standard. Every man-made standard is usually segregative, is usually meant to lock some people out and give a few people credence and publicity. So when you hear truth or information about you in terms of beauty from the television and from what you read in books, you're likely to feel less than beautiful. So the first truth that I'd like you to consider so that you get transformed, you pattern your understanding of yourself to the source of you, to the source of your life. Number one, you are created in God's image and likeness. This is a significant truth because although you're physical, you have physical presence and essence, the truth is you are a spiritual being. Being created and made in God's image and likeness has the connotation that you bear some likeness that mirrors God. There's a way you are like God. And one of that aspect is you are a spirit. So the true being, the true self is not what people see. It's not the physical image. There's the you inside you, and that is the spiritual being. So you are created in God's image and likeness, so you are a spirit. Another element that we can extract from you being created in God's image and likeness, you are created to function and operate like God. So God functions through faith, or God uses faith to function and engage in his business. The Bible says that God calls things which are not as though they are. So God doesn't judge, God doesn't articulate, God doesn't define your life and your situation based on what is physically visible. God uses a spiritual sense. He sees in the spiritual. He sees your tomorrow that is different from your today. So, based on that, God operates by faith. In the same way, you are called to operate by faith. Hebrews chapter 11, verse 6 says, without faith, it is impossible to please God, because he who comes to God must believe that God exists and he's a rewarder of those who diligently seek him. So through faith, you will see a better tomorrow from your today, from your miserable today, from your challenging today. You will see wealth, even though today you're wallowing in poverty. You will see success, even though today it's all about failure. You will become a better person than you are today. That is faith. The ability to call things which are not as though they are. So you might be poor today, but in your confession, you will be proclaiming that you are rich, that Jesus became poor, that you become rich. Number two, you are created to operate through love. So love is the ability to unconditionally connect and relate with people. One of the things that make us frustrated is because we put so many standards and strings on the people we live with. And so, because they're human beings, they're constantly failing to hit that mark. They're constantly failing to keep their word. So that frustrates us. That makes us bitter. That makes us discouraged because we are like, if they will have done what they said, I will have been a happier person. If my spouse will have kept their word about loving me, about providing for us, then we'll have been a different family. So we wait for people to do things so that we can feel good or we can be better. But then these people, because they are human beings, they disappoint us time and again. So The second aspect is that you have the ability to love people unconditionally, release them from any standard you've put for them, and accept them for who they are, love them for who they are. So that quality makes you be happy and be independent and live a better life than you are living today. Truth number two is you are created for a divine purpose. So you're not a fluke, you're not an accident. The truth is, your parents may never have desired or looked forward to having you. You could have been an accident in courts according to them. They never premeditated your birth. It was outside their calculation according to the safe days. They miscalculated and there you are, you're born. And that goes ahead to say that God's purpose overrides, overlooked, and it overshadowed the expectations and the choices and decisions of your parents. That's why you're here. So if we went by the desires and the prospect of your parents, you'll not be around. You'll not be listening and watching this. But because God overshoot all the expectations, you are born. An accident according to them, but you're not an accident according to God. You are created for a divine purpose. And God is intentional that you will live to execute, to carry out that purpose for your life because it has fulfillment, it has satisfaction. Your purpose is about solving other people's problems. The more you solve people's challenges and issues, the more you feel fulfilled. So you are created for a divine purpose. And I wanted to just open up your understanding and see this. When you buy a HP laptop today, as soon as you as soon as you connect that laptop into the internet, you there's a connection, there's some interactions that will be taking place at the background or behind the curtain. And this is basically the attempt to connect with the source of that laptop. So the manufacturer wants this laptop you have to be connected to where it came from for many reasons, but one of them is so that the laptop will keep on satisfying your questions, your demands. It will continue to meet the purpose for which it was created. So time and again, when you're just about to switch off or shut down the laptop, it will ask you, or it will even ask you to not to close the laptop before the updates have been completed. The updates are meant to keep your laptop in the most current version or in the most position so that it can serve you better. In the same way, God wants you to stay connected to your source. If you're going to live for His purpose, if you're going to carry out God's divine purpose for your life, you must stay connected to the source. You must stay connected to God. So I stop and ask you, do you have a personal relationship with God? Or you're just religious? Do you go to church because you go to meet or to have an opportunity to express your worship, your love, your affection to God, your creator? Or you're just religious? Well, there's another higher level, which is you having a personal relationship with God. And I'll ask you to read Romans chapter 10, verse 9 to 10. It talks about how you can become a child of God, how you can be connected to God through you receiving salvation. So, truth number 3, and this is also another important one, is that you are authentic and unique. So, research has been done and is constantly being done, and the finding are like this. There's no person who is like you. You are separate, you're different, and you're independent. And so that makes you special. That makes you important. That makes you stand out in a crowd, in the multitude, and in the mob. Okay? So continue.